July 17, 1996. A summer evening over the waters of Long Island, New York. TWA Flight 800, a Boeing 747, is on its final leg of a transatlantic journey, departing from John F. Kennedy Airport, bound for Paris. Passengers aboard the flight are unaware that their journey will end in disaster, and that their lives would be forever woven into the fabric of aviation history. Flight 800 took off at 8:19 p.m., carrying 230 people on board, including 16 crew members. For many, it was an exciting trip. Honeymooners, vacationers, business travelers, all eager to reach their destinations. The flight was routine, but just minutes after takeoff, as the plane climbed to cruising altitude, something went terribly wrong. At 8:31 p.m., just 12 minutes into the flight, the aircraft exploded in mid-air, sending a fireball shooting into the night sky. The force of the explosion was so powerful that pieces of the plane rained down into the Atlantic Ocean, leaving a trail of debris miles long. The explosion of TWA Flight 800 was heard from miles away. Witnesses from the shore saw the glowing fireball streak across the sky. Within minutes, a massive search and rescue operation was launched, but there was little hope of finding survivors. The wreckage was scattered over a vast area of the ocean. The impact was devastating. 230 lives were lost. No one survived the explosion. The immediate aftermath was filled with grief, shock, and confusion. What had caused the explosion? Was it a mechanical failure, a bomb, or something else? The National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) launched a thorough investigation into the cause of the explosion. The recovery of wreckage from the Atlantic Ocean was painstaking. Pieces of the fuselage were found miles apart, and the search for clues became one of the most exhaustive in aviation history. After months of investigation, the NTSB concluded that the explosion was caused by a spark in the center fuel tank of the aircraft. The spark ignited vapors in the tank, triggering a catastrophic fire that ruptured the plane's fuselage. The precise source of the spark was traced to a faulty wire in the plane's electrical system, which ignited vapors in the tank. The Boeing 747, unable to withstand the ensuing fire, exploded, causing the complete destruction of the aircraft. The NTSB's findings raised alarm bells within the aviation industry. TWA Flight 800's tragedy was a wake-up call, exposing vulnerabilities in aircraft design, maintenance, and safety protocols. The issue of fuel tank safety, specifically the risk of flammable vapors inside the tanks, had not been fully addressed, despite warnings from earlier incidents. In response to the findings, the aviation industry made sweeping changes. The FAA implemented new regulations to address fuel tank safety, including the introduction of more rigorous inspections of electrical systems and wiring. Aircraft manufacturers were required to develop and install new systems to prevent the ignition of vapors, and significant upgrades were made to the wiring and insulation around fuel tanks. One of the major outcomes was the development of a system called the inerting system, designed to reduce the flammability of fuel vapors by introducing inert gases into the fuel tanks. These safety changes would become the standard in the industry, helping to prevent similar disasters in the future. The investigation into TWA Flight 800 also gave rise to a number of conspiracy theories. Some speculated that the explosion was caused by a missile, or even a terrorist attack, despite the NTSB's findings. These theories were fueled by the confusion surrounding the cause of the explosion, the dramatic nature of the event, and the involvement of military airspace near the flight path. Despite the attention from conspiracy theorists, the NTSB stood by its findings, stating that the cause was a spark from the aircraft's wiring system, igniting fuel vapors. The NTSB's investigation remains one of the most detailed and exhaustive in the history of aviation, reaffirming the commitment to transparency and safety. The loss of TWA Flight 800 had a profound impact on the victims' families, the aviation community, and the world. In the years that followed, memorial services were held to honor the lives lost in the tragedy, and the families worked tirelessly to ensure that their loved ones would not be forgotten. But the legacy of TWA Flight 800 is not just one of grief. It is a legacy of safety reform, technological advancements, and the relentless pursuit of improving the safety of air travel. Today, the lessons learned from that fateful night have made air travel safer for millions around the world. TWA Flight 800 will never be forgotten. It was a tragedy that shook the world, but it was also a turning point in aviation safety. The passengers who perished on that flight live on in the improvements made to keep the skies safer for everyone. Their memory serves as a reminder of how far aviation has come and how far it will continue to evolve. This is the story of TWA Flight 800, a flight that ended in tragedy, but whose legacy continues to shape the future of aviation safety, ensuring that we never forget the lessons learned from the skies. TWA Flight 800, its investigation, the conspiracy theories that followed, and the subsequent changes in aviation safety. It emphasizes the long-lasting impact of the disaster and how it led to crucial reforms in aircraft safety, particularly regarding fuel tank safety and electrical systems.